and share some thoughts with you guys. Share my thoughts about what's going on right now at my job and ask the question to you guys. Have you ever felt threatened at your job? And when I say threatened at your job, I don't mean physically threatened as like, somebody's going to harm you, right? Threatened as in, have you ever felt somebody was going to take your position, your responsibilities, or your role at your job, right? Um, that's what I mean by threaten, right? Your job security, if you will. Because sometimes I think people have some pride about their position, their career, the title that they might hold, right? If they're part of an organization and they're the president, the secretary, the treasurer, that title might give them a sense of purpose sometimes. And sometimes in the workplace, you can find that some people, even in a completely different department, you don't even have the same work responsibilities, but they might feel threatened that for some reason you might come into their lane, maybe take their responsibilities, right? And all you're trying to do is find a way for everybody to work together, for everybody to be on the same page and further the overall company's mission, vision, dreams, goals, all that stuff. And I don't know about you, but for me, sometimes when I have people that I'm supposed to be on the same team with, supposed to be rowing in the same direction, but it seems like there's animosity or passive aggression happening. I like to, have a conversation. Let's talk about it. Let's see, maybe I made a mistake somewhere. But what led to this position? What led to this situation that we're in now? Let's figure out a way to get past it instead of spending so much time dwelling and doing things that aren't productive for the mission, for the two of us. It doesn't even make sense. And if we have to work together, we're going to be on the same team, right? Let's find a way to be productive together. If not, I personally feel like we probably shouldn't be on the same team. Maybe we should move to different teams, Kind of that feeling of customer service, but you don't want to serve anybody, but you're in customer service. It's counterproductive. Why are you in customer service and you don't want to be of service? Find something else to do, right? There's so many other jobs and positions that you can put yourself into, and you're not going to be in a situation where you're having to deal with people or offer service, but you'll be able to still make a living and do what you need to do. So this particular colleague of mine, I feel like there's some animosity, and I don't know what brought it about or what caused it, but it's interesting because in my situation, I've been there. What is it? It's probably about 4 months now. It's not even been a long time. So I don't want to go in there and say, hey, you know what? You're doing this, you're doing that, you're doing this, and this is counterproductive. So I need some help a little bit on this situation because I feel like there's already relationships built. Zabby, what's happening? I feel like there's already, a camaraderie built with the crew, if you will. And here comes the new guy. And the new guy wants to come in and start, putting his 2 cents in. Initially, I felt like it was a good environment and everybody was welcoming and it was all good. Everybody was looking for collaboration and idea sharing, right? And I still feel like the majority of people are on that page, but this one particular colleague is just really rubbing me the wrong way. And personally, I would just have nothing to do with you, right? And cut you off. But because of the workplace dynamic, That's where I'm having an issue. That's where I'm having a little bit of a mental battle of how to handle this situation. So if you have been in a situation similar and you have some ideas that you want to share, please leave them down there in the comments so that I can look and see if they make sense for me to apply in my situation. But I feel like if I start talking too much about what's going on, it's going to be like, oh man, Jeff's tripping, you know? Maybe we should part ways with Jeff, right? And at the same time, I'm like, you know what? That might be good too, you know? So it's an interesting situation. It's an interesting situation to say the least. But that's what's happening. You know, it's weird. Philippines. What? You guys must have some adobo over there and some lumpia. I have a lot of friends that are from the Philippines, and the cuisine, amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. A lot of the dishes remind me of back home in Nigeria, so I love Filipino food. Pancit. Yeah. Anyway, that's what I'm dealing with, man. And that's why I keep encouraging each and every one of you guys. Find a way. Take what you've learned on the job and transfer that knowledge, the experience that you've gained. You can always go to somewhere else and start something new and be more appreciated. Let me tell you guys a funny story. Yesterday, I was actually at my old job where I used to sell cars, Ford and Lincoln at the dealership. And I was there because my taillight went out. My wife drove my car in the morning to drop off my son at school. And when she started the car, the dashboard had an alert that said brake light fault, something. So she came back and she was like, hey, I think there's something wrong with your brake light, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, all right, cool. I had to take my son to the dentist later that day. So I took my car to the dealership to have them look at it and tell me exactly what was wrong, what was going on. And what ended up happening was they just needed to switch out the bulb. That was it. Just the bulb, dead bulb, nothing crazy. So they switched the bulb out. But while I was there, the funny thing was, they were like, man, Jeff, you should come back and start working. We need you. And let me tell you, it felt good to be wanted and needed in that moment, and knowing that they were in a place where they were struggling and they needed my presence. They were requesting my presence to come just change the situation because of the skill sets that I showed them when I was there back in 2013 to 2017. They're like, Jeff, come back. And the interesting part is, before I left, I just asked for something. I said, hey, do me a favor and let's put me in a position where I'm not necessarily. I said I have a daughter, so my daughter, who's going to be 12 in October, at the time she was still probably about 3. I said, hey, I have a daughter, and I would like to spend some time with her and not necessarily live at the dealership. So if you guys can do me this favor, this solid, and make that happen for me, then that'll be cool. But they didn't necessarily make it happen for me, and I moved on. When I moved on to the insurance industry, I remember very specifically, there was a statement that was made that was like, man, insurance? That's what you're leaving the dealership to go sell insurance? You'll be back. Right? So not everybody sees or will see your vision. When you decide to take that first step, that leap of faith, to hop off the porch or the cliff or whatever it is that you're hopping off. But when you decide to take action and start moving, not everybody's going to see the vision or support you. But just know that if you feel it in your heart and that's the thing that you want to do, don't worry about how you're going to do it. all the answers to all of the questions that might be coming up in your head, because sometimes those questions come up because you don't have the answer. And because you don't have the answer, you might be tempted to say, you know what, because I don't have the answer, maybe I shouldn't do this thing. And how many times have you started doing something without all the answers, without all the pieces, and all of a sudden, as you started doing the work, the answers came, the resources came, the help came. But so many people never get started. And because they never get started, they're still, right now, as we're talking, they're sitting down, letting their dreams sit back on the back burner, do nothing, right? That's not you. So I applaud you for doing what you need to be doing. But a lot of people are sitting back, waiting for things to happen. So if you see any of them, don't sit down and start hanging with them. Tell them that, hey, look, get up. It's time to go, and start moving. Hopefully they'll move with you, but if they don't let them slow you down. I appreciate you for subscribing. I'm back home, but it's another beautiful day here in California. And I'm looking for more people to talk to share with, to grow with. So if you know any people that are interested in learning, growing, giving back, sharing knowledge, that's what I'm all about, man. I want to see everybody winning. And I am a firm believer that me winning does not have to be at the expense of you losing, or vice versa. We can all win together, but sometimes some people are hoarding information, resources, as if, you know, that's going to hurt them by sharing with somebody else. But I always say sometimes you got to fill your cup with enough so that you can pour into somebody else's. If we're all waiting, sitting down, chilling, waiting for somebody to come pour into ours, then we'll all die of thirst. So let's go out, let's go to work, let's dig the well before we're thirsty. Let's get prepared. Because I'll tell you, right now, the world is very interesting. Things are happening, things are changing. And some people are not paying attention at all. But whether you know it or not, man, you're growing one way or another. Look at this thing. This is pretty cool. This thing is doing its own thing, right? And we're doing our own thing. Sometimes the growth that's happening is so small, nobody's paying attention until it turns into something major. And then everybody's like, oh, what happened? But man, life, we're like a garden, man. See all of these different colored roses? We got this color, right? We got rosemary over here. We got dead ones over here. You know, we got some over here. But the bottom line is, just like a garden has all of these different shapes, colors, plants and flowers, right? The world is filled with different shapes, sizes, colors of people. And we need to be there to help the garden grow. We need to be like the flowers that we want to see, right? Be the change that you want to see. If you want to be like this flower, right, then do the things that are necessary. You can't be like this flower, right, watching this flower and saying, wow, look at that flower. You're not a flower. You're a person. The beauty about being a person is we can change, right? That flower, it's done, right? It's not going to be able to change and transform into a good flower like the other one, the beautiful flower that everyone's like, oh my God, look at that flower, right? You and I, we can change, we can learn, we can grow. The person that you are today does not have to be the person that you are tomorrow. So it's a choice, and you have to decide that, look, you know what? I'm done doing those things. They weren't serving me. They weren't serving anybody else. Let me make a change. And you get to decide what that change is. But every single day, every second that's just going away, and you keep doing the same things over and over again and thinking that somehow, some way, something's going to change, I'll pray for you that I'll pray for you that the Lord moves you off of your comfort, out of your comfort zone, right? And into action, because that's what's going to create the change that you're looking for. You taking action. I want to see you winning, like I said. So if I can do anything to help, please leave it in the comments. I will reach out. I will respond. See you on the next video. Stay productive.